Auntie. Hi, ladies. Guys, you know how I like to step up the glam for the reunions? This time's no exception. Last year, I let Phoenix put 175,000 bobby pins in the side of my head. And this year, I let Jaggy put 175,000 clips. Love it. PK might have had some troubles 10 years ago before he met me, but now he is living his entire life to pay for new clothes and jewels for me. I think it's money well spent. I mean, who can argue with the results? Hey everybody, it's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 9, Episode 22, The Reunion Part 1. Okay, I should know better because whenever I try to do this high, tight ponytail hairstyle, it pulls so hard that when I laugh, it hurts. When I move my eyes, it hurts. I am not cut out for this kind of glam, ladies. And all these barrettes, not helping. I am kind of mad that they're not showing up better. I got the silver ones and I thought, oh, that'll be good. They'll be shiny. I was not going to glitter every single one of them because I literally, even though I haven't done the very, very back, I literally have so many in my head right now. It's crazy. And now I'm just mad that they're not showing up that well on camera. Anyway, I actually did watch this part 1 of the reunion last night when it was on, and I was pleasantly surprised at how good it was. You guys might disagree, but I guess for me is that my expectations were so low that I just felt like I was really pleasantly surprised. So let's get started. Okay, so as usual, we start by saying hello to the ladies individually, and he starts with Denise, and she's excited to be there, and Kyle kind of laughs at her and said, just like a newbie, and he's like, well, it's a good attitude to have. I mean, honestly, Denise doesn't really have anything to worry about, I don't think, right? She didn't like get into anything with anybody, maybe mildly with Camille during that finale episode, but until then, I don't think anybody had any problems with her. And I love her, so. Then we say hello to Dorit, and he tells her that he loves her look, and he goes, you always bring it, don't you? And she goes, I do. And Teddy's like, and brings the modesty. Then, speaking of modest, we go over to Erica, and he said, oh, Erica, I like your look. What's this called? And she said, fabulous. So, yeah. There's a lot of modesty to go around with these people. She does look pretty, though. And in fact, Dorit is kind of doing Erica's last year look, which was just a high pony, right? I mean, she didn't do the added bling, but she did have that ear cuff. If you want to see my version of Erica's look, check out this video here. Oh my God. Even Andy gives Teddy crap. Now we say hello to Teddy, and he's like, wow, Teddy, what a difference a year makes. And she goes, what are you saying about my look last year? Andy goes, okay, there was nothing wrong with her look last year. I mean, she didn't glam it up or anything. Maybe that's what he meant, but she still looked really pretty. Thought that was a little rough. And then, of course, he asks about her dad. Is your dad watching the show? It's like all Andy Cohen cares about. Is John Mellencamp watching the show? But she goes along with it, and she said, oh yeah, he's already given me advice. He told her, don't show too much cleavage, and Mellencamp's never cry. Okay. It's not like words of wisdom exactly, but whatever. Okay, next is Lisa Rinna, and you guys, I really like her look. I love her hair like that. I guess it's a wig. I think it's super cute, and I love her dress. She was showing it off on social media a little bit, and it's gorgeous. I can't remember who the designer is, but it's a similar color to Kyle's, because then we go to Kyle, and she's in a very, very neon, guess is it either green or yellow? I can't tell, but it's like super, it looks like a highlighter. I mean, I'm not mad at it. What I am mad at is her hair was so cute last season. She finally got it cut. It looked fresh. It looked modern. And now she's back to all the extensions. I mean, Teddy's got hair extensions in. I'm sure Dorit has hair extension. Side note, this thing is driving me insane. First of all, I bought this at Sally Beauty Supply, $2.99. It shows you how much I'm willing to spend for a sight gag. But it is so gross. There's flyaways. It is sticking into all these hair barrettes, and it's sticking in my jaggy earrings. Oh my God. What I do for this show. So, I mean, that's a hair extension. Erica and Rinna both have wigs on. So I think the only one who is natural tonight is my girl, Denise. Okay, then Andy tells us that somebody is missing. Lisa Vanderpump told the Daily Mail that she would not be attending the reunion. And then we get to see the little blurb. It's a Daily Mail TV exclusive. Note that it was not Radar Online, but the Daily Mail, aren't they the ones that had that first party at Tom Tom? If you guys watch Vanderpump Rules, before Tom Tom even opened, they had a private party for Daily Mail. And there was a whole big thing about who was invited and who wasn't. And anyway, here's what it says. Daily Mail TV exclusive. Lisa Vanderpump supports LGBTQ youth in powerful PSA and reveals she's officially quit The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and will skip the final reunion. So I'm thinking Andy's got to be pretty pissed at her, because what he's saying is this brings to mind season 3's reunion when Adrienne Maloof didn't show. And then we get this clip of Lisa Vanderpump being extremely vocal about Adrienne not being there. They have cherry-picked all these little sound bites from Lisa Vanderpump about how Adrienne Maloof should have came and fought for herself, and how, you know, what Brandy did wasn't to highlight what Adrienne did wrong. It was just pointing out all the times that she lied. I mean, if you remember at the time, Brandy Glanville and Lisa Vanderpump were very, very close. And then they pulled a little part of Lisa saying that when you've committed to being on the show, you have a job to do. And, you know, it was not good. It did not make it sound very good for Lisa Vanderpump. And of course, we see in the lower corner, you know, the facial reactions from each of the ladies sitting there today. A lot of, not good. Okay, then Andy said, well, if Adrienne Maloof's final act was to not come to the reunion, then Lisa Vanderpump's final act was to give that story to Daily Mail saying that she wasn't coming and then not coming. And Kyle said, well, you know, I think that the reason she told that story to the press yesterday that she was quitting was because she knew if she didn't come to the reunion, she would be fired. And she didn't want to be fired. She wanted to beat you to it then, because she knew she wasn't going to come to the reunion. Is that true? Do you guys think that's true, that if somebody doesn't come to the reunion, they're fired from the show? I thought there was some sort of a monetary fine, but I didn't know. Maybe they've changed it to you will not be on next season if you don't come. Because the money probably doesn't matter to some of these women who don't want to sit through that reunion. You know, the reunions can be really painful for some people. So the stakes probably have to be really high. Like, maybe that is true, that if you don't come to the reunion, you're going to be fired. Okay, then Andy said that in the article, Lisa said the point of a reunion is to reunite. And I have no intentions of reuniting with these women who have harassed me for 10 months. So he asked, what do you guys think of that? And Dorit said, I don't know what she's talking about, because I haven't spoken to her in 10 months, so I don't know how she considers that harassment. Most of them said that they hadn't seen her since Denise's wedding. And Rinna goes, yeah, I mean, the last time I saw her was at the wedding. She pinched my butt, and then I never spoke to her again after that. I mean, I assume she's referring to what she sees as she's like watching the show. I don't know. And he then says that there was another article in Radar Online. Oh, God. This was from a source close to Lisa. And it said, Lisa is being burned at the stake, nailed to the cross, and stoned by her co-stars all at the same time. Lisa always wins, said the source. Well, I'm not going to argue with the fact that Lisa always wins, because I think she's really pretty much coming out on top of this situation. If anybody doesn't need this show, it's Lisa Vanderpump. I keep saying this, and I'm not Team Lisa. I'm not against her either, but I'm just saying her life, I mean, she does philanthropic work. She is so involved in giving back. I just think she's got a wonderful life. I can't imagine why somebody like that would want to be on a reality show. Now, the question is this: is Andy Cohen mad at her for not doing this? And if so, will that have any bearing on Vanderpump Rules? I mean, she has another show named after her on Bravo. I gotta think that she is a cash cow for Bravo and Andy, and that he wouldn't want to do that. I also think that if he did, she would just go to another network and she'd be just fine. Anyway, after that comment, Andy says, Erica, what do you think of that? And she goes, get off the cross. We need the wood. Andy asks Kyle if it was a mistake for Lisa to not be there. Does she always win? And Kyle said, I think she should have been here. We all would have loved her to be here so that we could talk it through, even if it means agreeing to disagree. Then Dorit said, I don't think she wants to agree to disagree. Neither do you guys. So let's not forget that. It reminds me of the lunch she had with Dorit and PK and Ken. Dorit was saying, listen, I don't believe you. I think you did this shady stuff, and I think you said nasty things about me, but because I love you, I forgive you and I still want to be friends with you. And she's saying, I don't want to be friends with somebody who thinks I did that, I'm capable of it, and I'm lying about it now. That's the part that I agree with Lisa Vanderpump about. If I were Lisa Vanderpump and I went to this reunion, I would go with a plan to just remain completely calm and rational and continue to say, I don't think it's okay that you are trying to force me to apologize for something I didn't do. Then Andy said, Teddy, you said that you had a gut feeling that she was going to show up. And Teddy said, I still think she might show up, just like for dramatics. And he said, you feel the same way. And Rinna goes, yeah, I keep looking at the back door thinking she's going to come in. And then the camera pans to the back door. And then we see this black SUV pulling up, and it's all dramatic, and I don't know if we're supposed to think that was Lisa, but I mean, I think everybody already knows Lisa's not coming. Then we see Camille getting out of the car. And we do know that Camille is coming. Oh, God. Kyle brought her birthday present to Lisa Vanderpump. And she's like, well, I just thought, if she comes, I can give it to her, and if not, I'll just mail it to her. Girl, why didn't you mail it to her a long time ago? I mean, come on. Who wants the dramatics? You want to give it to her in front of everybody and have a moment. But it is in a little Manolo Blahnik box, and I am dying to see what it is. Andy said, well, if she's not here, I'm going to open it. Okay, now we are talking about the Twitter feud between Lisa Rinna and Nicollette Sheridan. She said, okay, so what happened was I claimed that she cheated on Harry with Michael Bolton when she went to his concert, and I think Harry was in Canada working on a movie or something. So she said Harry woke up in the middle of the night. He got a very strange feeling and he felt like, I have to go home. And he went home immediately. And when he got there, there was a love note in the garbage can. I guess from Michael Bolton. And Nicollette was not there. She was spending the night with him. Anyway, she's like, oh, Nicolette's going to tweet about this like crazy, but bring it on. And she said she slept with Michael Bolton that night. She was in his hotel room that night when Harry got home. So she said, I thank Michael Bolton so much because we would not have our life tonight. Yeah. I mean, it's quite a story. Then they talked about how everyone's trying to get Andy to have her on the show now. Lisa Rinna's like, you know, she used to be married to Denise's husband, Aaron. And Denise is like, yeah, Aaron used to be married to Nicollette Sheridan. And Andy's like, you know, you're making a really compelling case for me to try to get her on as a housewife. Oh my God, you guys. How great would that be? We lost Lisa Vanderpump, and to bring on a nemesis for Lisa Rinna, that would be good. That's the kind of injection that this season needs. That is the shot in the arm that Beverly Hills really needs. This woman, who is not afraid of controversy, Nicollette, has issues with Lisa. And, you know, maybe she's got some issues with Denise. Maybe we could get something going on there. How messy and wonderful would that be? We got a petition for that. Plus, I love Nicollette Sheridan. And for some reason, she is not on Dynasty anymore. The new Dynasty. If you guys aren't watching that, it's really good. I actually never watched the old one. I watched Knots Landing, though. And that's why I know my girl Nicollette. She left Dynasty. I think there was some health issues with her mom or something, though. Now that I'm thinking about it, she probably does not want to take on a reality show, but it would be so good, you guys. Okay, we are starting with Denise, and we see her little package. She's just answering questions about how, you know, at first the way she dresses so casually and all the other women are super fancy schmancy. A viewer asked Erica, what do you think of Denise's laid-back style? Because you're a fashionista. And she said, I think it's great. I think everyone should be themselves. Andy asked her what she thought of how everyone was dressed when they went to the Bahamas. And she said, I mean, I had my little crystal shorts on and I thought that was fancy. So she was kind of blown away by how they all dressed. Then we talk about her children. She said that Eloise, for a while there, it was in the tabloids that Eloise was Charlie Sheen's daughter with a hooker that Denise was taking care of. I kind of remember that story. Anyway, that is not true. Denise adopted her when she was single. We talk a little bit about Eloise's condition. It's a chromosome disorder. And so she's delayed hitting certain milestones and she can't speak. And she said, it's hard for me because I can tell she wants to and she's frustrated, but she is just a ball of light in my life. She also talks about Charlie Sheen, and a viewer asked the question, like, how are you so calm and, you know, dealing with his crazy? And then Andy said, I think things got crazier with him after you got divorced, right? And she said, yeah, they did. But she moved near him, and she said, the bottom line is he is my daughter's father. And for that reason, I wanted to help him as much as possible. I have a great relationship with my father. I wanted him to be a great father to our daughters, and I wanted to help him in any way possible to be a good dad. So she moved nearby. She said that when he was diagnosed as HIV positive, the girls didn't know that, and a lot was going on, but he knew that he could call her at 2 a.m. and she would be there for him. And it was all about the girls. It's great, but to have that kind of attitude and not harbor all kinds of anger and all that kind of thing, or even at the very least go, I'm done with him now, he's on his own, it really does take a special kind of person. She's a very different kind of person. She also said that even though it was in the press all the time, she goes, that was just a snippet of what was really going on. So, wow, I can't imagine. And then Andy said, what impressed me was you had talked about the fact that you could have really taken him to the cleaners and you didn't. And she said, yeah, he did not have much when they got married. I guess he had a lot of debt and stuff. And they did not have a prenup. And during their marriage, he got 2.5 men. And he also owns shares in it, or I don't know, something. And she could have sued for half when they got divorced, but she didn't. Okay, now we are talking about Kyle and her mammogram. When Kyle and Lisa Rinna went together, and Kyle, got freaked out because they saw something and they had to do the imaging again. Andy said that you guys got a lot of positive feedback from that. Then there was some negative feedback because people thought it was all set up for the cameras because you don't get the results right away. And they're like, no. What happened was Kyle really did have her mammogram scheduled for the next week at Cedars-Sinai. And then this place had scheduled it for both of them because they knew they were both coming in. And she kind of just decided, okay, she would do it. And yes, that place does do the readings right away. So there. Okay. Then Andy reads a question. Judy from Fort Smith, Arkansas wants to know, Dorit, how your gigantic implants affect your mammograms. Usually those kind of questions are weeded out and not asked on air at a reunion. I thought it was a little shady. Teddy kind of looked at her and smiled, and then she goes, well, do you think these are gigantic? No. I enjoy when the girls are out as much as the rest of us. And I have always commented on it. Not that I think they're gigantic or too big for her. I'm just a little bit surprised that question made it onto the show. Anyway, I think Andy said they don't look gigantic to me. And she goes, thank you. Do they look gigantic? Of course they are out front and center. But I would have it no other way, Dorit. Believe me. And then he says to Lisa Rinna, when you were at the mammogram place, they said that your implants looked great. So is it kind of like a checkup for your implants too? So she was explaining that in the imaging, it showed that, and they asked if they could show that on the show. And she said, yeah, of course, because that's my life. That's what it is. I mean, they're showing the healthy breast tissue, and the implant can show up too. And she's like, here's where your implant is, and that looks good. No leaks, nothing wrong with it. Okay, then we move on. Erica, you tweeted, all hail the new queen, Kyle Richards. Why do you say that? And she goes, look at us today. Kyle, I mean, she's the OG, I guess, but I wouldn't call her the queen. This whole segment is creepy because Kyle is very humble and, oh, thank you. Oh, no, but that's very sweet of you. Thank you. Erica, it's true. Look who showed up. Okay, you all showed up except for Lisa. I mean, good God, Camille showed up. Is she the queen? She should be. I mean, I don't know if I could handle Camille full time next season, but she was a welcome addition to this season. This season needed help. Now everybody's chiming in. Dorit, she is the last of the originals. Erica, she is our leader. She holds us all together. Kyle? We're talking about Kyle Richards? All right, guys, it's time for Camille Grammer Donatacci-Meyer. Hi, Andy. Andy starts by just congratulating her on her new marriage. Then we get a little flashback to Mauricio in Hawaii when they were at dinner and he was high on something. It was funny. There was even more to it than we saw. He said, I'm gonna tell you a joke, and Kyle's like, no. Dorit goes, tell us, I want to hear it. And he's like, okay. I can't remember it. Andy said that they lost a lot of footage because the cameramen were laughing so loud that a lot of the audio was lost. Then Andy said, earlier I was talking to Denise about what it's like to raise kids with an ex-husband who is always in the news. And Camille said, yeah, my mother said, watch Denise in her interviews. She always makes it about the kids. My mom was like, that's a classy way to do it. So then Andy reads, I think it was a viewer question, what's the real reason you won't give up the name Grammer? And she goes, honestly, it's for my kids. And then Denise goes, I couldn't wait to get rid of Sheen. She went and had her name changed back to her maiden name, legally. I don't know if that comment irritated Camille, but from this point forward, Camille has sort of a growing animosity toward Denise. So then Andy brings up the prenup. Denise didn't have a prenup. She could have asked for half, but she didn't. I don't know if Andy's kind of trying to make Camille feel bad for going after half of Kelsey's money. I don't know. But Camille's not taken to this line of questioning very well. She said, well, I was married for 13 years. Andy, how long were you married, Denise? And she said, just under 5. Then Andy said, do you think Denise should have asked for half? And she goes, I don't know. And he said, well, Charlie Sheen kind of came up while they were married. And Denise said, Charlie was almost bankrupt when we got married. You know, it was during their marriage that he got 2.5 men. I said that already. And Camille goes, oh, okay, I didn't know that. I don't follow you very much. I don't follow you very much. Okay. So she is going after Denise when I think she should be going after Andy. Denise didn't bring up this line of questioning. Anyway, she's like, yeah, I didn't follow you. I'm sorry, I don't know that much about you. And Denise kind of laughed and she goes, it's okay, you don't have to. Well, I just don't. Well, it's okay, whatever. She's really dismissive of Denise, and it's strange and misguided. All the ladies are shocked. You can tell from their reactions are like, whoa. The way she's coming after Denise. And she goes, I worked very hard during our marriage. I didn't just sit back and buy fancy clothes and eat bonbons, you know? Like, the implication is that Denise didn't. Denise probably worked her entire marriage. She's an actress. Like I said, everyone's taken aback, and you can see their reactions. And then Andy said, what do you think of that, to Denise? And then someone jokingly, Teddy, I think, said, do you like bonbons? And she goes, I never had one, to be honest with you. And they all just kind of laughed. Camille is angry. They're like breaking for lunch or something. And then we see 10 minutes later, she is in her dressing room getting her hair done, talking about how she felt like she was ambushed. I really wasn't expecting all this stuff from Denise about money and... Okay, it wasn't Denise. It was Andy Cohen. I don't understand why she's blaming Denise for that. Okay, so we come back from the break and Andy said, well, these Beverly Hills housewives may be proper in the streets, but that doesn't mean they're prudes in the sheets. Oh, good. We have a whole segment on their sex lives now. One of the viewer questions was, Erica, how does Mr. Girardi feel about you saying that you're pretty sure that he's been with a prostitute? And she said, well, because I'll tell you what, when he was a very young man and he would go to Vegas and win a bunch of money, he'd go up to his room and they'd send a couple of back scratches up there. And everybody just fell out laughing. Ow. My head hurt so bad, you guys. Of course, we can't get through this segment without talking about Aaron's very big penis. Okay, next. You guys, we knew it was coming. It's time to talk about Lucy Apple Juice. So we start with the flashbacks. Dorit telling Erica Lucy bit the kids. They thought they were giving her to a very loving home. I still want to know a little bit more about that. Tell me who the woman was. How did you know her? Why did you think it was a good home? That kind of thing. Why didn't you just give it back to Lisa Vanderpump, who would have found a loving home? A lot of questions there still. Then Lisa Vanderpump saying to Teddy, I didn't want you to know. Teddy pulls out her phone, reads, does Lisa want me to know? Answer, yes. Lisa, who said that? John Blizzard. So it's Lisa Vanderpump's word against John Blizzard's. I also want to know why Lisa did not just outright fire John Blizzard after lying about her. He's nothing to her. There would be 100 people who would want his job. Why didn't she just get rid of him immediately? I question that too. We get the flashback of Teddy. I did nothing wrong. I am an honest person. I have never lied to anyone in my life. Okay, so the video package is over and Andy said, what happened before the season started? And Teddy said, well, before I say anything, I need to apologize one more time to Dorit. Okay. Then Denise said, why did you get involved in this in the first place? She said, when I first got the phone call, it was, hey, Lisa wanted us to tell you because she knows things aren't good with you and Dorit. And it would be weird for her to bring it up because Dorit is one of her very good friends. But the dog ended up in a kill shelter. We got to figure out a way to make it happen. So, according to Teddy, this was a plan that was being hatched for this to happen on camera when the filming started for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And then Andy said, okay, so that was the phone call you got. And she said, yes, but there were multiple phone calls. And Andy goes, and she said, from John Blizzard. But also, hold on, I'm on the other line with Sessa. Hold on, Lisa's on the other line. Let me check with them. There was just so much going into it. And he said, okay, so then to Denise's point, why get involved? And she looks right at Dorit and she said, because I was petty and I made a mistake and I was angry with Dorit. And Denise, I told you, I love when Denise acts like she is just a viewer and not actually part of the show. Then what happened? She goes, what was the issue with you and Dorit? And she said, we had a whole bunch of issues from last season. And then finally, after the reunion, we were all supposed to go out to eat. And Dorit said, I'm not going to go if Teddy goes. And Dorit's like, that's true. So Teddy's like, and I was angry and I made a mistake and I acted out. And Andy goes, I still don't understand why you never spoke to Lisa about it. Why were you always just speaking to one of her employees? Which is a really good question. And she's like, well, and Rinna goes, had you gotten close to John Blizzard? And she goes, no, I was never really close to them. I would go there because my kids were in a class right next door and I'd go in, and I never went out to dinner with him or drinks or anything other than a Vanderpump event. And Andy goes, well, then that makes it all the more weird that you were talking just to him and not Lisa. And Teddy goes, well, I mean, that's why I never questioned it, because her head guy is saying, I'm on the phone with her right now. Let's figure this out. I think John Sessa was a lot more involved than even John Blizzard, because I don't think John Blizzard has the power, really. I think they made him fall on the sword, but John Sessa was Lisa's partner. So he had a lot more, authority, I guess, if you want to put it that way, to hatch up this plan. He may have even been the one who came up with the plan. So Teddy's saying, I've got Lisa's number one guy saying to me on the phone, this is all about Lisa wanting Dorit to look bad. So I went along with it. I'm not for 1 second trying to dismiss my bad behavior. We got a little flashback to the reunion last year when Erica said to Teddy, you're not just some little fawn in the woods. She said, well, I didn't realize how much she disliked Dorit. And he said, yeah, for an accountability coach, you really went down a bad path there. And she said, and I'm being accountable for it. Yes, I did. And then Dorit said, when she saw it, and I saw that Lisa didn't want to say anything. I heard that for you, it wasn't that you felt bad and decided you didn't want to do this to me. It was that you didn't want to be the only person to do this to me. That really hurt me. Yeah, let's not forget, you gave the dog to somebody who gave it to a shelter. That is super, super sketch. Anyway, that is where part 1 ends. And I told you guys it was much more exciting than I thought. Even when we had to endure the Lucy apple juice part, we got a little bit more information out of Teddy, so that was kind of exciting. And Camille is still sitting there. Even though she hasn't said anything since they came back from lunch, she is still there, and I know we've got some fireworks coming up with Camille Grammer. Hopefully part 2 is just as exciting. Even if it isn't, I will be here recapping it, and I hope you'll be here too. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to Jill Informed. And if you've got something to say, leave a comment down below. I love to hear your thoughts. I'll be back next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Bye, guys!